What is up, all you CineNerds?
What's up?
I am JP.
And I'm Ryan. And it's time to get to some Christmas movies, if you will.
And this is officially a Christmas movie.
Fuck yeah.
We decided to do, and I think we just
This is a
decided
mutual
this
decision,
collectively, yeah. Terrifier 3.
Hell yeah. And what's funny about this is that, if you guys recall, I got very excited about the animatronic Art Clown from Spirit Halloween. So I went and I found it. I was intending on bringing it here today. It just became too much of a hassle to transport. However, my wife has embraced this guy so much that she's buying the Santa outfit to rotate out on him, and he's going to stay up through the holiday.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of her too. She ordered the sunglasses and the Christmas trees and the Santa suit. I don't know if we're able to get the bloody neck beard, but whatever.
I mean, I'm sure you can make that.
Probably, but
So.
I also am a big fan of, if it's already there, I can just buy it and not put that work in.
That's fair.
God bless you cosplayers out there, because I don't think I have that patience. I haven't tried at least yet. So
I really wanted that Art Clown, but yeah, I didn't have the money, and I wasn't going to drive everywhere across the state trying to find one.
So I set aside, it was $199 for this thing, right? And I set aside my $200, and I had it because I wanted to buy one animatronic a year is the whole goal. And next year she wants to do Ghostface, by the way. But I set that aside, and after I had like a 20% off coupon, something else, I forgot what it was. It came down to like almost $140. So I scored on this thing, and I was so happy about it. There's the same one through Party Center, Party Supplies, whatever that is, that has the hacksaw, but I didn't get that one. So
I'm just happy I did get the Spirit Halloween and get the Glenn mask for $20.
I agree with you on that one. And if you look, he also got the Jason Voorhees art mask.
That is custom made by a friend of mine. He did this one, and he did the AKC Jason mask. But yeah, the Glenn was a $20 buy at Spirit Halloween, and I was really happy with that. And I got a Chucky knife.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
In your post you did.
I was going to put the Chucky knife here, but it was too tall. It's too long to fit in here.
As soon as the Santa Claus outfit arrives, I will get some videos and pictures posted up. But we love the animatronics. They're fun.
You saw that they're doing a Spirit Christmas store.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to think about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I hope that maybe they have like Art the Clown in a Santa costume or something. Like
are they
going
to do creepy Christmas, or are they going to do like just Christmas?
I think it's going to be just Christmas, but it would be really cool if they do Christmas and creepy Christmas at least.
On previous episodes, I have discussed that my wife and I, both huge fans of the movie Krampus, thanks to these gentlemen, James's pick, but I probably wouldn't have watched it otherwise. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was, and it was amazing. But my wife this year, she's opted for us to do a spooky Christmas because of Krampus and because of the Art the Clown thing. So we're going to be decorating the tree with spooky stuff. We're gonna have fun with this. Make it a continued Halloween effort.
I just don't ever decorate for Christmas or anything. So,
dude, my dad he is not a holiday guy whatsoever, right? But when my oldest, she's now 26, when she was little though, he was trying to at least be present for her with some kind of holiday spirit. Best thing he ever did. He literally made a tree outline on the wall with Christmas lights and just put that there, and that was it. He wouldn't put anything else up. He put that up and put presents at the bottom of it for her, but he tried.
The last tree I put up, I think the last year before my son moved back to North Carolina before he started college, because he lived with me through his high school years up here in Ohio. But the last year that he was here, I put up one of those little Charlie Brown Christmas trees, and I put it on top of my record player, and I just put presents up around the record player below the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, and that was the extent of my decorating.
I had I think it was my junior year in high school. I woke up, my mom had a it was like one of the tall old speakers, and it had a little Charlie Brown Christmas tree on top, and that was what she was trying to do. Well, no presents under the tree, just mom passed out. So literally, as I'm carrying her to her bed, I just kept thinking, another banner year at the the Bender house.
Well, yeah, and my thing is now, I did put a Christmas tree up every year when my kids were little, but my kids are grown. They don't come up here for Christmas. I go down there and visit them, and I just see no point in putting because I'm literally putting a Christmas tree up for me and my wife, and it's like there's no point in it. You know, it just is what it is.
Mine's the flip of it. So we're getting into a little Christmas spirit here before we get into the movie, so bear with us. So my wife grew up Jehovah's Witness, and so she didn't celebrate ever. So like when she finally moved in with me, and I was like anti-holiday, I wasn't like a big fan, and she literally looked at me and she goes, Ryan, I'm like 5 years old. I really haven't had a chance to do these things. So I embraced it then, and I was like, well, I got to make this special for not only her, but my kids. So went full out, and in turn, it made me start getting into it. So now I want to decorate for at least Halloween and Christmas. But honestly, my favorite holiday, if you can't tell, is Thanksgiving. And my wife, she tried to open up the day too for Thanksgiving. She's like, we'll just have people come throughout the day whenever they can, because our kids all have significant others now and they're older. I'm like, no. I go, by 5 o'clock, I'm going to be in my chair, power save mode, and a beer. Sorry. But let's get into Terrifier 3, because this is a lot to unpack. I was pretty happy with this one.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie. So I guess initial thoughts. Obviously, I was excited for this film for a while. I think even last Christmas, I was talking on this show going, next year, Terrifier's Christmas movie. You know,
Yeah.
So needless to say, I've been a fan of the series since I watched the first one. And then I went back and watched All Hallows Eve, and so on. So I've been patiently waiting for Terrifier 3, and as soon as I got back from tour, before I even got home from tour, there was a movie theater in a parking lot, in the same parking lot as the venue we were playing in Salt Lake City. And so I rushed through sound check, and I'm getting pissed at the sound guys for taking their time. I'm like, I need you guys done by 4 o'clock. I got to be off this stage by 4 o'clock to get through the parking lot, buy my ticket, and get to go watch Terrifier 3. To the point that my monitor was not working, and they were like spinning their wheels trying to figure out why my monitor wasn't working. And I finally looked at them. I said, take my monitor off the stage, hook my singer's monitor back up, because they had unhooked his trying to fix mine. I was like, hook my singer's monitor back up. Let's do this sound check, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. He was like, you're going to play without a monitor? Yes, I'm going to play without a monitor tonight, because I'm going to go watch Terrifier 3. So that's how that happened. So yeah, I ended up getting out just in time to get over and watch Terrifier 3. And this movie, yeah, I think there's problems in this movie that we will unpack as we get to it.
JP saw this movie before me, and I go, I don't care if it's a spoiler. Just give me right off the rip what's wrong. And he told me to him, and I to a certain extent agree. Our previous episode we had that discussion of what is gory enough, what's too much. There were a couple elements in this one where I would say there was some boundaries approached for me, crossed for JP, as he was telling me. After talking to you, by the way, I thought it was going to be much worse.
It's not too bad. I think the opening scene is the worst of it.
That's about right. That the kid in the bed.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So if you don't know what we're talking about, my problems with this film, and not to cut you off from your initial reactions, my problems in this film, it's not the gore. It is the idea of children getting killed, and it's not just one child. There's multiple children that do die in this film.
Now there is, but
they do not actually show them getting
Correct.
killed.
Correct.
So I do
So
give it that.
That
Now,
was where I was worried that was what they were
if
going to
it
do.
visually showed the kids getting killed, I probably would have gotten out of walked out of the theater.
Yeah, because that's that line drawn for me.
Yeah.
So I agree. But the way they did it, at least I didn't have to see it. It was post what you would see, and that was where they left it. And it was simply like a shock factor at that moment when you saw those. But that aside, we also know what we're going into. It's a Terrifier movie, and based on the success of the previous the shorts and the part 1 and 2, we knew it was going to be this. So my initial impression, I loved that Damien Leone stuck to his foundations. I love that he didn't jump at the opportunity. I guess he was approached by several different larger companies that all wanted to be part of this and make this with him. And he didn't go that route. He stayed the course. And as you're watching it, you still get the same feel as Terrifier 1 and 2. It's got that raw, gritty, holy shit feel. That also the raw, gritty, it's an independent film feel that I did not want to see go away. Because once the big companies, the big studios get their hands on something, we all know the polished effect can ruin the magic of something that was there.
Well, and they'll sit back and say, well, you can't do this. You can't do that.
Right.
We're putting the money up for this. We're going to tell you can't
now,
do this.
There was one stipulation with that said. The stipulation was...
You had to keep it under 2 hours.
Yes, and it ended up being 2 hours and 5 minutes. But the company was cool with that. They worked with it. They were the financial backers, not an actual studio, right?
It was something like...
Something
or
like,
a distributor, I think.
Yeah. So that was their only request. So he worked with that. So I would be really stoked at the director's cut and to see all those extras that were cut out. But that said... I was pleasantly surprised with this one, and it took us in a new art territory that I was not expecting, and my mind is left with so many questions, eagerly awaiting part 4.
I read an article today, and from what I saw, and it was very vague, but what I had read said that, that he's already working on part 4, and that there is going to be another major villain worse than Art the Clown in this next film. And so I'm assuming maybe like a head demon or the devil himself. I don't know. Yeah.
So,
but that's kind of what he's alluding to in this next film.
To your point, to that, the little hint, the subtle hints. There's a part towards the very end of this film where Art gets on a bus, and when he gets on the bus, there's a woman sitting adjacent from him, and she's reading the book, The Ninth Circle. Mm-hmm. So instantly, because that's right almost at the very end, and based on what you're saying, in The Ninth Circle, it's a short film. It's free to watch. It's on YouTube. It's 11 minutes long. Check it out. I highly recommend it if you love art. So in that movie, though, there are 9 regular demons that are unnamed demons: Satan, a witch, Pigman, and Scarecrow. So you've got all these different possibilities of people they can play with too for this. So I would be remiss if they didn't go to Satan, because I feel like Art's collecting souls for something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you're spot on, and I think that's where they're going to go. So that's cool.
So yeah, this as problematic as this opening scene was with the murder of children, man, this opening scene, what a fucking opening scene. It was fucking good. It was amazing. I mean, I don't even know where to.
So, little girl, mommy, someone's on the roof, is how we start off, right? Mm-hmm. And she hears this, but the mom's dismissing it like any parent does and says, no, it's just, the house settling, foundations are settling, whatever. And then she comes to a story, so her daughter will go to sleep and says, it's the elves. They come ahead to make sure, they scout ahead to make sure Santa's cool. And so they do that, and then all of a sudden mom goes downstairs because the little girl asks for mom to leave cookies and milk for these elves. Mom goes downstairs, and all of a sudden you hear more thuds. She hears it, again dismissive, goes and lays in bed, talks to her husband, says X, Y, and Z to the husband. Art gets in the house, By the way, this is he's they do a lot of time skipping in this one. So
Yeah,
he's dressed like Santa standing in front of the tree. The little girl sees him, but she's got a weird vibe. She's like, "That's not Santa," and she like hides because she feels weird. Art goes upstairs, and Art proceeds to do, and this is again opening sequence, first 10 minutes. He does one of my worst fears in my life. Okay, literally, and he just swings an axe. First he kills the kid. First he kills the little boy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see it. It just dump. You hear the chops, so you know what's happening there. Then he goes in the parents' room. Dad isn't even awake, and Dad takes an axe to the head, like, or side, whatever it was. But like
he keeps chopping the dad.
Oh, he does. But that's like, I mean, like, if I'm sleeping at night and I'm a light sleeper too. But if I don't wake up fast enough, like, I'm fucked. Like, that was like, now that's in my head, and now I'm like going to sleep every night, like one eye open, you know, like I'm looking, and I've got Art standing in my goddamn living room. So that was insane. And then Mom tries to put up a fight. It's a whole thing. So yeah, that's a whole hell of an opening sequence.
And I'm trying to remember, because obviously I don't have notes, because I didn't know we were going to do this, and I haven't watched it since I watched it in Salt Lake City. But the mom gets up. Is she the one that gets into the bathroom or the other room, and it has the Shining part where he takes the axe and chops the door?
Yeah.
He sticks his head.
Which is funny. I just did that for my door for Halloween. I decorated my door at work, and it was Jack Nicholson coming through the wrapping paper. But yeah, he completely emulates "Here's Johnny" with Art fashion, no sound. Yeah. But he threw the door after the axe and puts his face through that. So that was good. The little girl, she's still hiding, and she hides well, but then she makes a thump in a cabinet, and he finds her, and he just waves at her. That's all you see.
And then the credits start at that point.
Man, there's like, this movie, just like, there's no slow pace in this at all. It is straight killing and gore, in a good way. The cameos. Can we talk about the cameos in this?
I will say my favorite part of this whole film. My favorite part of this whole film is Tom.
Tom Savini?
No.
He has this part just being interviewed in the mall.
Yeah. No, I remember
Howard? No? It is Howard. Okay.
The whole bar scene.
Yes.
Bar scene is the best scene in the whole movie. Art the Clown comes into the bar. He sees Santa Claus sitting at the bar, and in Art fashion, he is excited.
He's over the moon.
Over the moon that he's seeing Santa Claus. And Santa Claus is played by Daniel Roebuck, who is one of those actors that you don't know his name, but you know his face because he's in everything, every kind of movie and TV show. He's actually the teacher that blows up in Lost.
I haven't seen that in so many years.
When they're getting the dynamite from the ship. And Clint Howard is there with him, who, if you don't know Clint Howard, you should. He's in every horror film pretty much ever made.
It's Ron Howard's brother.
Yeah.
Just say that, because most people won't identify it. But if I were to pick one that best demonstrates, what's your favorite horror film from him?
Ice Cream Man.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, because that's one of mine, too.
Ice Cream Man or The Wraith.
I forgot about The Wraith.
The Wraith.
Holy shit. Ice Cream Man I saw by accident, like in high school, I think it was. And I was like, what the fuck am I watching? And it was so good I couldn't look away. Like, it was so bad but good I couldn't look away.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole scene, and it's not a short scene. The scene, they are literally drinking with Art. He's buying Art shots.
Well, a shot,
then but
Art turns around and spits it in his face.
Yeah,
that was hilarious. Then he proceeds to sit in his lap and just piss himself all over the guy in his Santa suit, and he's just laughing about it.
Yeah, he sits on Santa's lap and pisses on him.
What's funny too about the follow-up sequences is usually Art is any tool, anything I can to kill someone, right? But it's always a unique way, except for when he got to the bartender. The bartender, Art reaches in his bag and he pulls out a Glock and he just bow, 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 and just shoots him. I was like, what the, where did that come from? Because at this point, Art is like posted up like he's like just like pro shooter. Like,
but
like,
you know, he did that in the original Terrifier though too.
Yeah, he did, I suppose. I just forgot about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole sequence was good all the way into one of Art's new toys that he's building. And we'll get back to the time lapse because really want to touch on that. The one of the toys he builds it's a fire extinguisher modified to release
like
liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, liquid nitrogen, like a freeze gun.
Yeah, so he literally freezes the dude after the suit's off and starts just hacking away at his pieces that are frozen. Pretty intense, pretty solid.
It's a great,
solid.
It's a great scene, and it is my favorite scene in the whole movie, hands down. There's nothing else close to it.
Well, hold on, let's rewind here. I don't think JP recognizes or realizes that he predicted the outcome of Chris Jericho's fate. You said when they come back in, he's gonna go right for Chris Jericho. And I'm like, oh yeah, they could take over right there. And he goes in and he goes for Chris Jericho. By the way, that sequence is great too. You've got what's her face, Victoria Hayes, whose face is mutated, her one glowing eye happening. She's birthed Art's head. This is the end of Terrifier 2, and essentially, in this it's like back to back in this opening like whole first 30 minutes. They have like an umbilical cord attached to Art's head. Art's head is chewing on the orderly, and it's alive and smiling. And she's just laughing, sitting there. Chris Jericho loses his mind. He's like freaking out, like, oh my God. And it just goes from there, man. It just was not expecting that. I didn't even know if they were going to touch back on that. Actually.
I knew they would. And I knew Jericho was already going to be returning. I'd already read that he was returning. But I knew with Jericho returning that he was going to die first thing. He was not going to make it out of there. And I love that they set up the whole thing. He had to reattach his head to his body.
And then I love how that somebody was dressed like him for Halloween gets on the subway and he's got a brand new outfit. So that was just like convenient. And him and Victoria look at each other like back and forth. And they're like, okay. There's one other cameo in this though. We mentioned Chris Jericho, Tom Savini, and Clint Howard. Do you know who the other cameo is? It's Sienna's dad. I'll give you that hint. Do you know who plays it?
I do. Now I can't remember who played it.
Jason Patrick.
Yeah.
Yep. I did. I'm like looking at him like, who the fuck is Jason Patrick in this? I don't remember seeing him. He looked definitely like he had aged.
Yeah.
But like all I'm thinking of like Nightbreed and all that. Is it Nightbreed? No. Lost Boys. Sorry.
Lost Boys. And Speed 2.
Speed 2. Jesus Christ.
Cruise Control.
How did you not put Tom Cruise in that one? Anyway, sorry. But yeah, and did you know there was one scene too that David, it made him sick. He had to try not throwing up while it was happening.
It was the rat scene.
Yes. So there's a kill sequence at the end with Sienna's older sister, who you don't know about in the first film or the second film. Sorry, and the sequence he basically opens up her mouth with a tube.
Her aunt.
I think that was her older sister.
You sure? I thought it was her aunt.
Yeah, because she was the aunt to the little girl. Because Sienna was Aunt Sienna or whatever it was. It took me a minute to catch that one, but yeah. Okay. So and that's why Sienna's like, I miss her so much, and she's like, I know I do too, because it's their mom and they're sharing that moment. But he puts this tube down her throat and then proceeds to hammer it and then put live rats down her throat, and then he burns the rat's bottom so they crawl further down.
Mm-hmm. And then he slits her throat open and the rats crawls right.
Yeah, it was a lot. And so the actor who plays Art the Clown, David Howard Thornton, he essentially that scene, it was so much that he kept trying not to throw up. So when the actor who's doing the main killing is having a moment, it's a lot.
Yeah, it was a rough scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not as rough as the bedroom scene in part 2. And it's definitely
I was just doing the wave that Art does when the mom walks in. I'm sorry.
It's hilarious. I think that everybody talks about how disgusting that scene is, but I think it's hilarious. I mean, he comes in with Clorox and salt. I mean,
brutal.
There's a lot of little nods to other films in this. Did you catch a lot of these? Because you obviously we talked about the Jack Nicholson one.
Yeah.
There was one for where Art and Victoria go into like their little hibernation mode.
I want to talk about this.
So yeah, they go into their hibernation mode, but This is one of the little homages they were playing when Art sits down in the chair in front of the window. That's straight up Black Christmas with her in the attic.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and well, yeah, it's definitely.
Well, but so why do we think there's a 5-year window, a 5-year cycle on Terrifier, or Art the Clown, and Victoria in this case?
I don't know yet.
And my other question so just to give context, if you didn't see it or if you did see it, they were time skipping a lot. And after the murders that happen at the insane asylum where Art goes and gets Victoria, after that, they both go back to a house that is abandoned and they proceed to, I don't know, she like cuts her arms open, sits in a bathtub, and then he goes upstairs, sits in the attic window in a rocking chair, and they both basically freeze in time. Definitely a demon thing. What you got going on?
My mouse battery died.
It's a shame. Well, I guess while he's swapping the battery, I'm going to talk about that. So yeah, they have a little hibernation time, and then these two dudes show up that are there for the house to look at things within the house.
I think they were going to demo the house. I think they were going to tear it down, and they were supposed to go in there to make sure nobody was in there.
Right. And in fact, there was. And those two definitely come back to life. And you see when Victoria's been sitting in that bathtub with the blood that was in there and then all the other things that are in there, and she just starts moving, and you're like, oh, because she already looked like she was dead.
She looked gnarly.
Yeah,
shit she was laying in was rancid looking.
Yes. It looked like basically the water had leaked in through the walls into the tub with her blood, and she shit and pissed in there too. It was just a whole bunch of horrible. But yeah, it was a whole weird thing. But that hibernation sequence definitely intrigued me.
Yeah.
From the demonic point of view. So I'm curious to see how that factors in.
That whole scene where the Art's killing those guys that come in there. I was almost in disbelief. No, I'm good. I was almost in disbelief when Victoria comes in there and starts like stabbing herself in her vagina.
Oh my God. That was not just, I mean, like she had that whole piece of glass up there. Like she was like happy to see the death happening.
Yeah.
So they have a weird chemistry, these two, and I don't know how to think of it. I think they are the same demon because of the way she was talking. Like she was saying I, but for things Art had done. So I didn't know what to think of that. I was kind of
well,
like...
she also looked in the mirror before then, it might have been right before she slit her wrist, but she was like looking at herself in the mirror and goes, nobody's going to want to fuck you anymore.
Yeah, I do remember all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's so many different elements like that I'm genuinely curious about. I would, hey, just Damien, if you're up for it, we'll have you on anytime. I'd love to pick your brain because you made one hell of a character. But yeah, so much to dig into with their lore, their background. I'd love to know more on that. But I'm not sure if my gummy kicked in or if I missed Home Slice getting killed. I just saw his head
off screen.
It was off screen.
It was off screen.
So yeah. So Sienna's little brother, who also survived part 2, he was now attending college. He felt like Sienna was seeing things and was going more crazy, and she wasn't moving forward, whereas he put on a good mask that he was moving forward. And but Art goes right for the college campus.
Yeah, he goes to the college campus, and he has a major scene there, and the dad goes to the college to pick him up, but by the time
dad he means the sister's
husband goes to pick him up, and when he pulls in, he gets a text saying, "I'm here, and he's in he gets a text that responds that says, "Where are you at?" He said, "I'm parked where you told me to park," and he was kind of confused.
Oh yeah.
So it was kind of letting you think that it was Art that was texting him, but it never showed her brother die on screen. it just kind of it alluded to it, and then you see the skeleton head, or whatever it was. What was it? It was a skull, wasn't it? That he carried in. They put up there.
Yeah. So
And-
it was in a. He had a bag over it on the top, and he lied and said it was her niece, and it wasn't. It was him.
Yeah.
It was the brother.
Yeah. So yeah, it never actually showed him die on screen.
Yeah. No. But still, however, he did kill him. It was in typical art fashion because all you saw in front of you was, a skinned head with an eyeball.
Yeah.
So whatever he went through was pretty brutal. Now his roommate was in college, was dating this girl, and by the way, the girl was super super hot until I found out she was the same age as my daughter, and now she's not hot. But anyways, the girl is an obsessed true crime podcast person. She has her own true crime podcast. So
she is 1 year younger than
24,
my daughter. Or
20,
1 year older than my daughter.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. So I thought she was cute until then. But anyways, she's obsessed with true crime, and she's been following the what was it, what'd they call him, the something state clown killer or something. They call them a specific nickname in the movie. Besides Art the Clown, but when she was talking about it, she was approaching the brother like, "Hey, you got to come on my podcast, please. I know it's coming off a lot. I know it's this and that." And then she sees Sienna on campus with the brother, approaches Sienna, and Sienna loses her shit on her. And then so fast forward before, as Art goes to the college campus because he's going there for a party and trying to find the little brother. Jonathan. Yeah. Jonathan's the little brother. As he goes to the campus, though, the roommate and the girlfriend are in a shower together. She basically has coerced him to convince Jonathan to go on her podcast by using sex, and so they're in the shower together. And holy shit, that was another huge kill. That was
this was the big scene.
Yeah.
It turned into a Art the Clown imitating Leatherface with a chainsaw in a bathroom shower. Yeah,
it was a lot. It was interesting.
And he ends up shoving that chainsaw up this guy's butthole, essentially, and sawing him in half.
Not fully.
Yeah.
No, only up to the midsection right here. And then did not repeat the events of the first one. But then cuts the head off and proceeds to put the body up in a cross setting on the wall of Sienna's sister's house, because all the ending things take place throughout this. When that happens, there's obviously a fight scene breaks out, and I guess it was originally a lot longer, but that's stuff that he trimmed down. This was part of that. But when this scene happens, there's one point where Art shoves Sienna's face into that dude's abdomen and is like smothering her with his insides. Holy crap, was that intense. That was great.
Yeah.
The other things that happen in this sequence too, one of the things we neglected to bring up is Sienna essentially has a superpower, if you will. That was one of our big downfalls about part 2. We weren't thrilled about that.
It's there in this movie, but it's not as dominant in this
right.
one.
This one brought it back to more of like a plausible,
you
know. But she goes back to the Terrifier, the ride from Terrifier 2, and she gets her knife back that her dad gave her, and she's intending on giving this to her niece, and she has it wrapped up, and it's under the Christmas tree.
I don't think she was giving it to her niece. I think she just wrapped it to sneak it in.
No, it was there for her niece. Her niece had already read the diary, if you remember. Okay. Her niece read her diary and read. She's the only one who knows everything that happened with Art legitimately.
Yeah, I knew that her niece had read the diary and everything. I just, for whatever reason, I was understanding her getting the knife and needed a way to sneak it back in the house. She was going to try to get it upstairs, but she had to hide it behind the tree, but she had it wrapped. And
that your justification sounds more likely than mine. My thought process was she basically wanted to train her niece to take the mantle. I was kind of thinking along those lines, so I was overthinking it probably. But
I feel like she was just because everybody was saying basically, she's crazy and she's violent, she's unstable. I generally felt like she was bringing it in because she thought she was going to need it, but needed a way to sneak it into the house.
Okay. Well,
But
we'll
her
find out.
but her niece knew that the knife was in there.
Well, her niece knows a bunch of shit now. She's in the bowels of hell.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, that happened. So in this fight sequence, the Victoria is killed, and when she dies on the ground, she's next to the niece, and her blood starts burning at the floor. While that's happening, Sienna is over with the sword through Art in his midsection, and something unique happens. His eyes turn white. Did you notice that? His eyes turn completely white.
Yeah, he was like dying.
Yeah. And Sienna had to make the call to pull the knife out of him to go rescue her niece, who now the floor has opened from Victoria's blood, and there's a gateway to hell, essentially. And so this part bothered me. I have so many things to say about this part. Why, if your niece is hanging on and about to fall into the bowels of hell, do you say, I'm going to grab the sharp end and hand you the handle? That was one of the there's another flaw in this movie.
There's a bunch of other things that she could have grabbed to stuck down there.
No, yes, for sure. But I mean, overall, with the whole film. So when Terrifier 2 happened, what was the purpose behind her cosplay outfit? Her cosplay outfit was because they were celebrating Halloween, right?
Yes.
Now we're at Christmas, and they say it's the 5-year anniversary. So the timing is off. They had to make it work for this movie, is my guess. So that one also. But back to the sword. So the sword, though, obviously she couldn't hold on, and the sword cuts her hands, and her niece falls into the pit of hell.
With the knife.
With the knife. But, however, Sienna's not helpless, because at first she looks up, and Art has gone out the window. He's left. And she looks down at her hands, and her hands are instantly healing. So she's got a healing factor.
She's kind of like Deadpool.
Or Wolverine.
No
claws, so we'll go with Deadpool.
We don't know. Yet.
Never know. But a whole bunch of stuff ensues from there. Essentially, Art he's on the run. I feel like the power save mode is how the demons recharge and reset.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
So, yeah, because he gets on a bus. He's at a bus stop, and he's just sitting there. He's kind of staring off. Then he gets on the bus, and he's sitting across from the woman reading that Ninth Circle book, and he's just staring. He's just, like, literally locked in, like, a power save mode. And all of a sudden, he starts smiling at her, and he starts just staring at her intently, and it goes from there. But he was definitely shut down for a moment, I felt.
It seemed like it for sure.
Let's see, what else did I have on this one? Rat scene. Oh, I did want to talk about the independent aspect. Why it meant so much to me that they kept that tone. They kept that feel to the movie.
I mean, I don't think this film will work any other way.
I don't either. But I do think that keeping it honest to that degree, though, matters on so many levels. There's a lot to be said about independent film, especially when you can have the budgets that he has and deliver the product that he has, and people just run to it. They gravitate towards it. When you see that happening in cinema currently, to me, it's not just about film. It's about what you're doing for theater. So I looked up these numbers because it really sat with me wrong. It was like 14,000 theaters were left in the United States in the 1970s. I posted about this on our page too at one point.
I saw that.
And in 1995, there were 7,744 theaters. In the U.S., as of now, there are 2,315 theaters that are active. That's huge to see that decline of theaters. If you've got movies where people are coming out in abundance to go see film, hopefully this jumpstarts that. Hopefully that gives life back to that, because I don't want to see theaters disappear. I don't mind the comfort of my home, but like some of these newer theaters with the rumble seats and the beautiful 1080p or beyond, the Dolby Atmos, the whole experience, IMAX, everything matters. It's so pivotal. And it goes back to our conversations about physical media and what that means too. Like I don't want to see these things fall away because we won't get them back.
No, no, and theaters are important. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of younger generation right now that I feel like, oh, well, I just want to watch it at home. I don't want to go. I don't want to have to pay to go sit to a theater. I mean, I stream everything, from home. You're missing the experience.
You know what I learned in the pandemic? I learned that anyone who is confined for a period of time will not want to be in a social setting again, because it definitely impacted all of us. It impacted myself, where I would go out less and less because afterwards I was already conditioned, if you will, to be at home and be a homebody. I feel like if kids aren't finding a reason to go out to these theaters, if they aren't trying to get up and go out, that's going to keep going in that path. Everyone says they have anxieties now and have all these things. Yes, there's anxieties, but at the same time, you can cause those, and you have to figure out a way out of it, and that means you're going to have to break out of that comfort zone. Do it. So I hope to God that movies like this are helping. I hope to God that movies like this are inspiring people to get up and go out, see what the hype's about, and go visit them. I mean, I talked about this before too. Like, I love the goddamn popcorn buckets. Keep them coming. If that's what gets people to the theaters, do it.
I have bought so many popcorn buckets and cups through the years, and I'm glad they're getting back to the odd popcorn bucket. I mean, you see my Chewbacca popcorn bucket over here. I mean, they used to get some really cool ones like that, and then they stopped, and now they've started it back again, and it's awesome.
I keep missing them though, because fuck you, flippers. People like to buy these things just to sell them on eBay, but I just want to enjoy it for myself and have it as part of the collection, memorabilia, all that fun. So, but yeah, no, this movie, hands down, I'm JP might disagree with me with this, but behind Pinhead is my favorite. Art's right there. He's number 2. He's skyrocketed to the top.
Yeah, he's moving. He's moving very rapidly.
Yeah, I'm sad that so many people know about him, because it's one of those things where I was like, I was cool, I saw him first, but at the same time, I'm so unbelievably happy that so many people know about him now, because that's what we need. We need more of it. So, keep it going, Damien. Let's see more of this shit.
I was trying to look something up, and I'm not finding it, and it's pissing me off.
Can I help you?
No.
Is that my Bane voice? Can I help you?
Damn it, it's irritating the shit out of me. Okay, well.
What were you trying to look up to?
It's something on Netflix, and I was trying to find it, and now I'm just drawing a blank on it, and I kind of wanted to talk about it, and I can't now.
Something on Netflix.
Yeah.
Talk about vague. What
very
the
vague.
Fuck?
It's very vague. I do that every now
what?
and then.
Give me some indicators here. Give me something. Something what?
It's a horror slasher film.
Okay. What does it entail?
Oh wait, you know what?
Any leads?
I think I remember it now. I was just finding it.
Man, this build up, this hype, this must be real.
Well, it's not nothing amazing. I just, we haven't done any recommendations the past few weeks.
No, we haven't.
We haven't. And so I kind of was sitting here thinking as we were talking about Terrifier. I have watched 2 newer films this week that are on Netflix. I think they're both Netflix, maybe originals. One of them is There's Someone Inside Your House. Have you seen this?
I know of it. I have not seen it.
Well, evidently this one came out in 2021, and I missed it.
This is about the person living upstairs?
No. It's basically it's a slasher killer that's going around killing people that don't admit their secrets. So like if they've done, like, if somebody's doing drugs and they don't admit it, they even have a secret party to, like, people to tell their secrets to everybody, And if people don't, like this one person don't admit that he does drugs, well, the killer shows up with a copy of their face. His mask always changes to like the face of the person he's coming to kill.
So this is like a big ripoff of Luther, Fallen Sun.
Kind of, probably.
Did you see that?
I haven't seen that one.
So Luther, what's his name?
Idris Elba.
Yes. So this series was amazing. In this instance, he goes to jail for the things he crossed the lines on, right? But it's because a serial killer put him there intentionally, knowing secrets about government officials, and that got him in jail. He escapes, and this serial killer is killing people, but he's got a digital mask, so it changes to their face as well.
Yeah. Well, this isn't a digital mask; it's actually a molded mask.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like a replica of their faces, and it's a slasher horror. Like it's interesting. And the other one I watched this week was a new film. It just came out on Netflix. It was called Time Cut.
So my wife watched this. I have not watched it yet.
It's okay. It's not bad.
Okay.
It's interesting. This girl goes back in time and has to she starts trying to stop a serial killer. So it's kind of an interesting one.
What did I just watch? I'm flaking right now because I just watched some great ones that I would love to share. I didn't come prepared for this one.
Yeah, I was sitting here thinking as we were talking, I was like, we just did 3 episodes and didn't do any recommendations.
You meant our recommendations. I thought you were saying like people, because what we haven't done in a while is let people vote and pick some of our shows to watch, movies to watch. So I wouldn't mind doing that too.
Yeah, we can do a poll for that.
For sure. Let me go into my list here. I know I just added some shit.
So, while you're looking, we'll
Mm-hmm.
talk about box office for Terrifier 3.
I got you. I looked at these two.
Oh, yeah. So this movie, the budget for this was $2 million. Like, it was a relatively low budget for a film. And as of right now, when we're filming this, and obviously we're filming this episode not quite a month. We're about 3 weeks out from this episode airing when we're filming it. It has made $78.3 million on a $2 million budget.
Do you know its opening weekend number alone?
I did, but I can't remember.
It's 19 million.
Yeah, I knew it was right or close to 20. So this movie, and it's still in theaters, it's still making money as we're talking right now. So over $78 million on a $2 million budget, on a $2 million independent film budget. Like, that is just absolutely unreal. I know it became the highest grossing
NC-17 movie.
Movie of all time. So that's another achievement in itself. So what you got?
I don't got anything. I've been getting caught up on Fear the Walking Dead, so that's been a bunch of it. I watched a movie called The Sentinel. I hadn't seen
the older movie. Is it?
Yeah, it's so that popped up. That finally popped into Netflix though. It's a 1977 film. That one I wasn't expecting to be as good as it was. The Conference I watched, which is basically like it's a slasher about a killer haunting a job conference. He goes above and beyond to get the kills essentially. But I'm trying to think what else. I watched a good vampire flick called Dampier on Netflix too. That wasn't horrible.
Yeah, I've not seen that one.
Yeah, it's got its cheesy elements because it's a foreign film, but at the same time, it's pretty solid. So, yeah, I was here for it. But no, I'll come prepared next time with my recommendations.
Yeah, I just happened to be sitting here thinking. I was like, we've just filmed 3 episodes and did not do one recommendation.
My recommendation is get your ass out of the house and go to the theater and find whatever you want to watch, because that's important right now. I'm really going to stick to that one.
And there's I'm not even sure what's coming out, but I'm sure in the coming months there's going to be some decent movies coming.
Well, if you got kids, Transformers 1, if it's still out there, The Wild Robot, from my understanding, those are some good ones. If you can find Terrifier 3, go see that in the theater too. just be prepared to cringe a lot, in a good way. I'm trying to think what else. Something else just released.
I saw a trailer, and actually at the beginning of the Terrifier 3 when I watched it is when I saw this trailer. For a new Mark Wahlberg movie of all people that actually kind of impressed me. Have you seen this?
I am a Mark Wahlberg fan, my friend.
Okay. So you have seen the trailer for this.
No. What is it?
It's called Flight Risk.
I have not.
And it stars Mark Wahlberg and some other girl. I'm not sure who she is. And Topher Grace.
Okay.
And it is about they're on a small little plane, and the girl's an FBI agent. Topher Grace is like a FBI witness that is being flown in to testify against some criminal organization. Well, in the trailer, you find out that Mark Wahlberg is actually a hitman. He's killed the pilot, and he is piloting this plane and is going to kill him. And it looks like a really kind of intense kind of film, with three people on this little plane, and one of them's the guy flying it's a killer.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, it looked pretty interesting.
What's the one that just came out with James McAvoy in it, where he's like a psycho?
Oh,
it's like Don't Speak, or
that could be the name of it. I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure what
that one looked really
is.
good. I started watching. I watched Longlegs. That was.
I've not watched that one yet.
That was interesting. I do have one. You know what? I fucking can't remember the name of it, but I do have one. It's a girl walks home alone at night. Have you heard of this one?
I've not seen this one.
Okay, this is the most culturally crazy movie I've seen in a minute, and then we'll wrap this up. But it is a Middle Eastern approach to vampire film, and the girl is the vampire, but there are elements of Latino culture. I don't know if that's the right words to use, but a Latin culture, a Hispanic culture in some way. There's elements of that. There's old school cars. There's almost a Russian aspect to. It's so culturally all over the place, but so done well. And most of it's black and white, except for certain elements are made color. But it reminds me a lot of Let the Right One In. Or is it? Yeah, Let the Right One In.
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of that film. If you like vampire films, highly recommend that one and check out. And you know who told me about that? Fucking Kevin Bacon. He did a whole thing going into the October. He's like, top horror films that I highly recommend, and that was the only one I wasn't familiar with. Sorry, there's one other one I haven't watched yet, which everyone tells me to check out, The Audition.
Audition's great.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's an older film, yeah.
Okay.
It's an older Japanese horror film.
Okay.
Yeah, it's if you've never seen Audition, man, you're in for a treat.
All right, let's go.
I will say it's a slow burn, but man, when it kicks in, you're gonna go, what the fuck am I watching?
I've had a few of those in my life.
You're gonna think Art the Clown ain't shit.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. All right.
Ratings.
Okay, I'll go right into ratings. Jeez.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, before we go into ratings, I did want to say, because we got a little tangent away from Terrifier 3, I did want to talk a little bit preemptively about how important it is. If you guys like what you guys are hearing, if you like our ramblings, if you like this podcast, please do share. It's the best thing you can do. It's easy, it's free, it helps us immensely. We definitely want to get the word out there, and hopefully some people like what we have to say. But other than that, thank you for listening, and thank you for always tuning in. We appreciate it. Now we'll go into ratings.
Ratings. You want to go first? You want me to go first? Don't matter to me.
Rock, paper, scissors? Oh, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Fuck's sake. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Dude, that's 4 in a row they're the same. All right. If you aren't able to see this, we just managed to, if you're just listening, we just did 4 in a row there that all the same. One more time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yeah. You can go first.
But you won.
Right. So
Oh,
go
okay.
first.
So you want, okay. All right. So Terrifier 3. This film is and one thing we didn't even talk about.
Oh boy.
But I'm going to talk about it just a little bit. We talked about it a little bit. The children dying. We've already talked about. That was my problem with this film. Was children getting killed. So we talked about the opening sequence, but there is a whole nother sequence where Arch Clown goes in and blows up a whole bunch of children, getting their picture taken with Santa. So it's not just the one scene we mentioned. There is another scene where a whole group of kids do get killed. That Art kills, but again, it doesn't really show.
It's just that he walks away and
Yeah.
the explosions happen. He's rigged these toys to be bombs.
So had this been done more distastefully, I would have walked out on this film, and because that's something that shouldn't be on film is children getting killed. But I do really fucking like this movie. As problematic as many issues as I've had with that, I really, 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 really fucking like this movie a lot. It is probably my favorite of the series. I don't know 100% yet because I've only watched it once. I need to rewatch this film a couple more times to really decide if it's my favorite in the series, but it is definitely up there, just as good as the other ones, but I feel like it is my favorite of all of them.
Do you include the shorts and All Hallows Eve in the series?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I include all of it.
Okay.
And I actually just rewatched All Hallows Eve because I didn't watch
amazing.
it. I didn't.
It's so good.
I didn't watch it before we did the review and of Terrifier and Terrifier 2. So I was like, I really want to rewatch this. So I actually rewatched All Hallows Eve last week or this past week actually. So yeah, I think the special the practical effects in Terrifier 3 are fucking top notch. The story is much better than Terrifier 2. I think the grounding the superhero thing a little bit made it a little better. I know the distributor wanted this cut down to at least 2 hours. I get it why they were doing that because I think Damien has an issue with dragging things out, which we've talked about in Terrifier and Terrifier 2 when we did the review. I feel like he has a problem dragging scenes out.
There was no pacing issues in this one, for sure.
There's no pacing issues really, but I still think that he could have trimmed a little bit here and there on this one. Not as much as Terrifier or Terrifier 2, but the pacing was much better. Overall, I honestly can't remember what I ranked Terrifier 1 and 2 at now. I wish I could because I feel like I like this one just as good or better than those. And I should have went back and checked what
I don't remember either. I just
was.
know that I ranked Terrifier 1 higher than 2. I think we flipped on that too.
We did flip on that. So I'm going to go at a 4.2.
Okay.
I feel like that's a good solid number for this film. I think this is definitely the beginning of a horror icon franchise, and we've been saying it since the first movie. He's going to be the next icon, and this is just more proof that he's here to stay for a while.
I think that for me going into my ranking, I think it's important to discuss too that, Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy, Pinhead, all, not Ghostface, all are demonic in some way, shape, or form. And so when you talk about those icons, you talk about the larger franchises. Art is we're only at chapter 3 here. This has potential for 6-7 more films if they really wanted to. The crazy thing about a demon is they really don't die. They keep coming back, or something happens that gives them opportunity to spawn back into this world. And to JP's point, this is building. This is becoming something, and people are all here for it. They're showing up. The numbers there, the budget's working. The bottom line is showing complete profitability on these movies. They're not going to let this go anytime soon. So I'm here for the ride. I'm excited to see where it goes next. This film, morally, with the kid aspect, I think JP and I are on the same page. Not a fan of that aspect. but I do get it. The only area that I could have seen trimmed away would have been the opening family. That's really not necessary, but it worked for the story and kept the pacing moving.
I enjoyed that scene. I think some of the stuff that could have been trimmed was some of the stuff with Lauren's character, Sienna. Some of her more disturbing, trying to show that she is kind of out of her mind because of everything. I think I didn't want to do away with any of it, but I think it could have been tightened up a little bit.
See, to me, I feel like you could have started the movie with a direct. It could have been right in there with Burke at the insane asylum, right with Victoria thing, or it could have been him going into the bar for the Santa suit. Either one of those kids started it, and I could have done without the family thing. I liked it. Glad it stayed in. Definitely thought it was good, but that's where it could have trimmed for me. Outside of that, I felt like the other aspects, the Santa suit, getting his head back, all those things all came together for the story itself that was happening. The family thing could have gone away, and it wouldn't have mattered. Yeah. So that said, though, I do have a lot of questions, and I do want to see where it's going to go next. But overall, I can't really complain about this movie with the exception of a couple little faults. So I went 4.5 for me. So we're not too far off. 4.5 nerds here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're pretty close.
It's tied, if not right there, with Terrifier 1 for me.
Yeah, and I feel like if I could remember off the top of my head what I ranked Terrifier and Terrifier 2, I would probably right now for sure put this like that fraction of a percentage above 2. But I best I remember, I think I put both of those around 4.0 and 4.2. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, we had them. We were in the same realm. I think I went a little lower than 4 though for part 2 for me. I was put off, I remember, by the superpower thing.
And I actually dug the stuff with the Clown Cafe and
stuff was awesome. Yeah.
And that's stuff I wish was in this one.
That was the funny thing too for the niece when it kind of little bits were because the niece reading the diary, she goes, "What's the Clown Cafe?" And then she kept hearing the song too. Sienna periodically would hear that song and it would trigger her. And then her best friend that was sitting next to the niece at the table, little things like that mattered.
I love, and I didn't mention this, that fucking song in the credits.
I didn't listen.
It's a Christmas song, and it's called like Terrifier Christmas.
Oh, that they did just for it. Yeah.
And it's like a Terrifier.
They played it when he was walking into the frat house too.
Yeah, and it was such a catchy little Christmas tune. Like it was pretty great.
I wonder if that ringtone's downloadable.
I did look on YouTube the other day to see if the song was up there to listen to, and I couldn't find it.
I'm sure there's a soundtrack somewhere.
There'll be a soundtrack out someplace. Yeah.
Speaking of which, we didn't talk about this. The correlation with Ice Nine Kills and Terrifier. They did a whole ass video.
You actually get the girl from the Clown Cafe.
Yeah.
Singing in the midway through that song.
I'm not a huge Ice Nine Kills fan, but I love their gimmick. I love the horror love. I love they have Art the Clown with them coming out to certain shows because he's such a fan of theirs.
Yeah.
So definitely helped me start to appreciate them more.
Yeah, it was a cool video. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, that's we're gonna tidy this one up because we just ran way longer than we'd like to.
Yeah, we've been running 45 minutes on these last few episodes, and we're over an hour.
Just over an hour. So obviously we love Terrifier. All right. Well, we've given our ratings. So 3cinenerds@gmail.com is the email. You know the routine. So give us any kind of input you'd like there. And then beyond that, you know the drill with the bio as well. Our bio and a Facebook page has a link tree for all the different outlets. You can listen to our podcast as well as our merch store. Please keep listening. In these next few weeks, we're going to be pushing the Christmas theme a little harder too. So
yeah, and should have James back on some episodes for the holiday season. So
James, and I believe James will be here too for our 1 year coming up here.
Yeah.
So we got our big 1 year episode coming up.
And that'll be next week.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, the 1 year will be next week.
I've been hanging out with these guys way too long.
And I will be on the road. I'll be on tour.
Having a hell of a time.
So, yeah.
Here, wait. You know what the best part is? For anyone that's in Cleveland, my band gets to open up for his band when they come back to finish out that tour.
Yeah, because we'll be playing the Mercury Lounge.
Yep, Mercury Music Lounge in Lakewood. And the reason I bring that up is because this honestly means a lot to me because James Whalen, this guy, all like family in a big way to me. So getting to play on the stage, share the stage, and close out a good year for all of us, that'll mean a lot. So hopefully you all can make it out.
And if you need tickets, just hit this guy up.
Get a hold of me. Message me. Facebook, that whole bit.
So, yeah, if you want to come to the Lakewood show at the Mercury Lounge, you can hit him up for tickets. Or you can go on the, I'm sure you can go on the Mercury Lounge's website or event page and order them online.
Whatever's clever. We just want to fill this room.
I'm pretty sure this room's going to fill up.
Well, that's the thing is last time nobody, like, I think people waited not knowing about the Jason thing and dragged their heels, and it was sold out before, like, weeks ahead. And then all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, God damn it. People were like bummed out. They missed it. So this is your opportunity.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got J-Man. We're going to be doing some Mushroom Head songs on top of an AKC set. You got Aaron Nordstrom from Gemini Syndrome that's on this tour.
He's doing a special acoustic
doing
set.
a special acoustic set. And he's doing songs with A Killer's Confession. And then A Killer's Confession is, obviously, we're doing some songs with J-Man. So yeah, it's gonna be a big show.
Lilac, Under Black Sky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the other two bands that we get to warm up the stage for, and so it's gonna be one hell of a night. So,
and there's other tour dates too. So you can just
of
go to Killer's Confession, Facebook, website, whatever, or my Facebook. There's tour dates. We go up and down the East Coast. Back here, we end here in Ohio. So, and we got two in Ohio. We got, what's that place in Columbus?
Scully's?
No. We're playing someplace in Columbus.
Ace of Cups.
Ace of Cups. I've
Yeah,
never heard of
Ace
that
of
one.
Cups, and there's like King something. I don't know.
That's it. King of Clubs.
King of Clubs.
King of Clubs. We're playing King of Clubs here in Ohio. Then we're playing Lakewood. So.
Perfect.
So, yeah, there's a couple of Ohio dates. There's some North Carolina dates. So, all my family and friends in North Carolina, we're doing Greensboro and Jacksonville. So, yeah, Tampa, Illinois. I'm just going to throw some random dates out. Go to the page and find them. And then go to our page, CineNerds. Invite your friends. Write a review. Go to our Apple Podcast. Go to our Facebook page. Write a review on both. Share, comment. Show love.
We'll stop rambling. We love y'all. Cheers.
Later.